Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time we're exploring magnetic abundance and specifically how to attract wealth effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
Right. That's what this companion guide, which goes along with an audio series, wants to help you with.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's not just about passively listening to something.
Right.
It's about really getting in there and doing some writing exercises to shift your money mindset.
I like that. I think that active engagement is so key when you want to make a lasting change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with something as personal as money, right?
Yeah.
And one of the first things that this guide asks you to do is confront those deep-seated beliefs about money.
Well,
Those like limiting beliefs that we've all got.
yeah. So before we go too much further, let's define limiting beliefs. So a limiting belief is basically like a negative thought pattern that we've kind of internalized,
Okay.
oftentimes subconsciously, and it really dictates how we view ourselves in the world around us.
Hmm.
So, with money, that could be anything from I'll never be rich to money is evil. Right.
Or it's selfish to want a lot of money.
Yeah, we've all heard those.
And those beliefs, even if we're not like super aware of them, can really impact our ability to attract wealth.
So what do we do about these beliefs then?
Well, so this guide has you write down your biggest money-related limiting belief.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
What's that?
You have to use a lead pencil.
Ooh, why is that?
So by writing it down, it forces you to, first of all, acknowledge that it's there.
Okay.
And then later on, as you move through the program and start to reframe your thinking,
Yeah.
they have you erase it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Symbolic, right?
Yeah, I like that.
So it's letting go of that old thought pattern
Okay.
and making space for something new.
I see. So it's not just leaving you with a blank page.
Exactly.
Does it give you any examples of what these might look like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So like the classic, I'm not good with money, or rich people are greedy.
Right. Yeah.
And these are often super ingrained, you know?
They can come from your childhood experiences, cultural messages, or even from traumatic events.
Yeah.
So, for example, someone who grew up seeing financial struggles might develop this like fear of wealth,
Right, right.
and they might associate it with stress or instability.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, right?
Right.
If you think you're bad with money, you're going to make choices that reinforce that.
Hmm?
So how does this magnetic abundance program address that? Does it just tell you to think positive thoughts and hope for the best?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
It's much more nuanced than that.
Okay.
So once you've kind of pinpointed those limiting beliefs, it then goes to this concept of setting powerful intentions.
Okay.
And it's not just about wishing for $1 million to just appear.
Right.
It's about like getting clear on what you actually want to achieve
Yeah, yeah.
with your finances and WHY.
And so it's like the purpose behind it, right?
Exactly. So the guide gives this example. I want to overcome my blocks around money and attract a level of affluence that enables me to share my wealth with those in need within the next 18 months.
Wow, okay.
It's very specific.
Yeah, it's not just like a vague thing.
No.
It's a goal with a time frame, like you said.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense, right? If you've got that clarity, it can really push you and guide you.
Yeah.
But how do you actually bridge the gap between where you are and now and that ideal state?
So that's where the money blueprint comes in.
Ooh, a blueprint. That sounds kind of mysterious.
I know it's kind of a buzzword, but it's actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
It's basically the collection of all those beliefs and attitudes about money that we've picked up over time.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is unconscious.
Right, right.
And it creates a set of rules that really governs how we interact with money.
So it's like almost an operating system.
Exactly. So imagine someone whose money blueprint says money is only earned through hard work and struggle.
I feel like I know a few people like that.
Right. So they might like sabotage opportunities that feel too easy or like lucky
Oh, yeah.
because it doesn't align with that deep-seated belief.
It doesn't compute for them.
Yeah. So their actions, even if they seem kind of irrational, are actually reinforcing this blueprint.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just like the surface thoughts. It's that deeper stuff that really matters.
Exactly.
How do we even start to uncover that then?
Well, and the guide emphasizes this. Becoming aware of your money blueprint is like essential
Yeah.
for changing your financial reality. You can't rewrite the code, right, if you don't even know it exists.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So how does the Magnetic Abundance Program help you figure this out?
It walks you through different chapters, and each one kind of addresses a specific aspect of, wealth consciousness.
Okay, so break it down a little bit.
Yeah, so like it dives into like The fear around money explores the art of gratitude and teaches you how to shift your energy.
Okay, so we can't go through every chapter, obviously.
Right.
But are there any that really stand out to you that you think our listeners might relate to?
Yeah, definitely. So one that comes to mind is chapter 3, the fear around money.
I think we've all felt that one.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, I think most people can relate to feeling some level of fear or anxiety when it comes to money.
Yeah, fear's a big one.
Right.
Yeah. So does the program offer any strategies for overcoming those fears?
Totally. So first of all, it encourages you to understand, what's the root of that fear?
Yeah. Okay.
So is it a fear of scarcity,
Right.
a fear of loss,
Mm,
maybe even a fear of success? Right.
that's a good point.
Which we'll get into a little bit later. But once you kind of figure out the specific fear, then you can start to reframe it.
Okay, so it's about shining a light on it and seeing if it's even real.
Exactly. And remember, fear often thrives in the darkness.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can bring it to the light, you can start to dismantle it.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about my own money fears.
Yeah.
So what else does this magnetic abundance program suggest you do to shift your mindset and attract wealth?
So another one that I think is cool is chapter 5, the art of gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
And this really resonates with me because it emphasizes appreciating what we already have,
Right.
even if it doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from lack to abundance.
That's a tough one, though.
Yeah,
How do you feel grateful when you are struggling?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think the guide probably provides exercises for cultivating that gratitude, even when things are hard.
Okay.
So, it might suggest focusing on the non-monetary things, like your good health, your
Okay.
relationships,
Oh, I see.
even just a beautiful day. It's about training your mind to see that abundance is already there.
So it's about realizing that wealth can take many forms.
Yeah. It's about recognizing that abundance is not just about money. It's actually a state of mind.
It's a way of being.
Exactly.
So much to think about. This really goes beyond surface level advice.
It does. It really dives into the emotional aspects of wealth.
Yeah, so we've talked about identifying these limiting beliefs, we've talked about setting intentions, and we've talked about understanding this money blueprint. What's next? What do you do with it all?
Well, it ends in this really cool exercise that brings it all together. Remember that limiting belief that you wrote down?
Oh yeah, with the pencil?
Yeah, the one you're supposed to erase. Well, once you've kind of worked through the program and shifted your mindset,
Yeah.
they have you go back, erase it, and then write your new money blueprint, but this time in RID ink.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it's very symbolic.
Powerful, yeah.
So red is associated with power, passion, and action, right?
Yeah.
Like a declaration to
Yeah.
yourself and the universe.
I love that. But can you really just change your beliefs like that and then watch the money roll in?
I mean, it's not magic, but
Okay.
it's also not rocket science. It's really about aligning your internal world with your external desires. So when you genuinely believe that you are worthy of abundance, you start making choices and taking actions that reflect that belief.
So it's more than just visualization.
It is, yeah.
It's about taking action.
Yeah, and it's about becoming a magnet, right,
Yeah.
for abundance
Yeah.
by shifting your energy
Yeah.
and aligning your actions with what you want.
This makes a lot of sense. Now, before we go any further, I want to circle back to something you said earlier about that fear of success.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people might not even realize they have that. Can we dig into that a little more?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so it might seem counterintuitive, but it's actually super common.
Oh, yeah.
It often stems from this deep-seated belief about worthiness or a fear of the unknown.
Right.
So someone might believe subconsciously that they don't deserve success.
All right.
Or they're afraid of the changes it might bring.
Yeah.
Like, what if my life gets too crazy?
Oh.
Or what if my relationships change? Yeah.
And so they might self-sabotage without even realizing it. Like avoiding opportunities or procrastinating or, making these financial decisions that keep them stuck
Right.
in this cycle of lack.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so the program probably encourages you to really explore those fears and challenge if they're even real.
Okay.
So it's about recognizing those patterns
Okay.
and making a conscious decision to break free.
Yeah.
And remember, fear is usually rooted in illusion. It's based on things that might not even be true anymore.
Okay, so we've talked about fear. Let's get back to something a bit more positive, like gratitude.
Yes.
It seems like that's kind of a recurring theme, right, throughout this whole program.
Yeah.
Why is gratitude so crucial?
Yeah. I mean, gratitude is essentially acknowledging all the good things in your life.
Okay.
And that can be so powerful.
Yeah.
It shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have,
Okay.
and helps you see the wealth that's already there. So when you're focused on what you do have, you're naturally attracting more of that same energy.
Exactly.
I don't
It's like sending a signal like, hey, I appreciate all this, send me more.
Yeah.
It's about building that abundance mindset.
Right, which is super important for attracting wealth and success.
Absolutely. And remember, it's not just doff about material things. It's about appreciating the love and support that you have, too.
Yeah.
Your health, your opportunities.
It's about realizing that wealth is multifaceted.
It is.
So much more than just money. Okay, this whole conversation is making me totally rethink my relationship with money.
Yeah.
So what does the program suggest we do with all these insights? Like, how do we actually put this into practice?
So the guide is really big on the idea that knowledge without action is kind of useless.
Right.
It's not enough to just understand the concepts. You have to apply it.
So turn insight into action.
Exactly.
What kind of action?
Well, like setting financial goals,
There.
creating a budget that works for you, maybe exploring new ways to make money, or just being more aware of your spending habits.
So it's not about becoming a millionaire overnight.
Right.
It's more like small steps.
Exactly. It's about taking those small steps and trusting that you're going in the right direction.
And I love that. So it's about enjoying the journey.
Yeah, and abundance is a journey, not a destination.
That's beautiful.
It's about celebrating the wins and learning from the challenges.
Right.
And, you know, abundance is available to everybody.
It's not a finite resource.
Exactly.
So we just have to align ourselves with it.
Right.
This is awesome. I feel like I'm getting a whole new understanding of what it means to really live an abundant life.
Me too.
It's not just about finances.
Right.
It's a way of being,
Yeah, it's a state of
a
mind.
conscious choice.
Yes.
And it's a journey that we can all go on,
Yeah.
no matter where we're starting from.
Exactly.
This is so empowering.
It is, right.
It's a reminder that we have the power to create our own reality
Yeah, for sure.
and to live a life that's full of joy and abundance and purpose.
Speaking of continuing the journey, the guide has this awesome recommended reading list
Oh, look, that's right.
if you want to dig in even deeper.
There were some cool books on that list, like The Soul of Money,
Yes.
Money and the Law of Attraction, even some classics like The Success Principles and The Secret.
It's such a good mix of stuff. It covers like the spiritual side of wealth and the more practical scientific stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that the program wants you to keep exploring.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's more than just this one thing.
It's a whole journey.
It's a whole approach
Yes,
to changing how you think about money.
it is. From the inside out.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to stop for today.
Yeah.
So what key takeaways would you like to leave our listeners with?
You know, I think the most important one is just the power of self-awareness. Before you can change anything, you have to understand where you are now, you know, your beliefs, your patterns, your fears. It's like taking an honest look at that money blueprint.
That's step one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And once you've got that, you can start setting intentions,
Exactly.
making those conscious choices, and really creating the abundance you want.
Right.
Because you're not a victim of your circumstances, you can create your own destiny.
That's such a powerful realization.
It is. Okay, so as we wrap up this part, think about your own money blueprint.
Yeah.
What beliefs are you holding on to that might be holding you back?
And what's one tiny step you can take today to start shifting those beliefs?
Because abundance is a state of mind.
It is.
It's about being grateful for what you have
Mm.
and believing that you are worthy of receiving all that good stuff the universe has to offer.
It is.
Okay, so sit with that for a while, and we'll be back soon to explore even more from magnetic abundance.
Sounds great. Welcome back. I hope you had some time to think about that.
Yeah, even little changes in how we see things can make a big difference, right?
Absolutely. So last time, remember, we went over those core ideas from magnetic abundance.
Yeah, about identifying those limiting beliefs, setting intentions, and that whole money blueprint idea.
Right, how those beliefs can really run the show, even when we don't realize it.
Yeah, it's like our financial autopilot.
Exactly. So now I'm kind of curious to dig into some specific chapters.
Okay.
There's one in the companion guide that really stood out to me, Chapter 7, Giving from Your Overflow.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. It seemed kind of counterintuitive.
Right, like the whole idea of giving away money when you're trying to attract more of it.
Yeah, it doesn't quite compute at first.
Yeah, but it really challenges how we think about money and generosity.
Okay, I'm listening. How does that actually work, though?
Well, think of it this way. When you give from a place of abundance, like truly believing there's enough for everyone, You're basically aligning yourself with that energy.
So it's not about, like, feeling guilty or obligated to give.
Not at all. It's about giving freely, joyfully, from a place of gratitude, believing that the universe will provide.
I can see that. But what if someone is struggling financially? Should they still focus on sharing?
And I'm sure the program addresses this. But remember, giving isn't always about money.
True?
You can give your time, your skills, your kindness. Even just listening to someone can be a form of giving.
So even when money is tight, there are other ways to give from your overflow.
Absolutely. And sometimes those other ways can be even more powerful. It's about recognizing that abundance comes in lots of forms.
That's a great point. So it's not just about what you have, it's about your attitude.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is, when you give genuinely, it often inspires others to do the same.
So it creates like a ripple effect.
Yeah, that abundance just keeps circulating. So what other cool stuff did you find in the chapters?
Well, Chapter 9 really got me thinking money is a spiritual tool.
Oh yeah, that one's deep. It basically says that money itself isn't good or bad, it's just energy.
And we can choose how to use that energy, right?
Exactly. It challenges you to think about how your money can make a positive difference.
So it's not about just hoarding it. It's about aligning it with your values.
Right.
Using it to make the world a better place.
Exactly. And when you see it that way, it's actually more fun to manage. It's not just about you anymore.
You become like a steward of that wealth.
Right.
Okay, now I really see how this goes beyond just getting rich. It's a whole different way of thinking.
It is, and it can be incredibly freeing. It takes the pressure off, you know?
Yeah, like money isn't the only way to measure success.
Exactly.
Okay, before we move on, I want to go back to gratitude for a sec.
Sure.
It's everywhere in this program. Why is it that important?
Yeah, well, it's a foundational principle of magnetic abundance, and there's a good reason.
Okay.
When you're grateful, you're literally opening yourself up to receiving more.
More of everything.
Yeah, in all areas of your life, including money.
Okay, but realistically, it's hard to be grateful when you're surrounded by negativity, you know?
Oh, for sure. Like, there's that constant message that we're not enough, that we need more, more, more.
Yeah, it's hard to escape.
It is. It takes a lot of effort to fight back against that. And the program likely gives you tools to do that, to switch your focus.
What kind of tools?
Well, one that's super popular is keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Basically, every day, you write down things you're thankful for.
Simple enough.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be big stuff.
Right, right.
It could be a good cup of coffee, a sunny day, anything that brings you joy.
So it's about finding the good, even when things are rough.
Exactly. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. You start noticing those little blessings everywhere.
It's like training your brain to see things differently.
Exactly.
Let's see the abundance that's already there.
It changes your whole perspective.
Yeah.
And that can impact everything, including your finances.
When you're feeling grateful, you're more open, more positive, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about gratitude, giving from your overflow, money is a tool. Any other chapters you think are must-reads?
Yeah, there's one I think a lot of people will find helpful. Chapter 11, Releasing Money Blocks. It's all about those emotional things that stop us from attracting wealth.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, we talked about fear of success earlier.
Right.
Another big one is feeling unworthy.
Oh, yeah. Like you don't deserve to be wealthy.
Exactly. And this chapter really dives into how to overcome those blocks.
So kind of like rewiring your internal system.
Exactly. Changing those old beliefs that hoard you back.
What kind of techniques does it use?
Well, it might talk about visualization, affirmations, maybe even working with a therapist to really dig deep.
So it's not just DIY, you might need some help.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
And it also emphasizes taking action.
Right, because changing your beliefs isn't enough.
It's not. You have to do something different.
What kind of actions?
Well, it might suggest making a budget, learning some financial skills, finding a mentor, or just saying yes to opportunities that come your way.
I'm getting it now. It's about taking a holistic approach, right?
Totally.
Working on your mindset and your actions.
Exactly.
It's not just about positive thinking, it's about creating a whole new life.
Yes.
Wow, we've covered so much ground. It's clear that this program really wants to help you transform your relationship with money.
It does.
It's all about empowering you.
Yeah. Believing that you can create the life you want.
Okay, before we move to our last part, let's talk about that final chapter.
Chapter 13, you mean?
Yeah, living a life of purpose and abundance.
That's a great one to end on. It really brings everything together.
Yeah, it's about more than just the money. It's about creating a life that's truly rich.
Exactly.
It makes you ask those big questions about what really matters.
Yeah, like what's your purpose?
Right. What brings you joy?
How can you use your talents to make a difference?
It's about aligning your money goals with your soul's purpose.
It is. And when you do that, the money often follows.
It's not the focus anymore. It's a result of living authentically.
Exactly.
Okay, so in this part, we've gone over giving from your overflow, money as a tool, releasing those blocks, and living with purpose.
It's been a lot, but hopefully really insightful.
Definitely. So now, before we go to our final thoughts on magnetic abundance, we have a question for you.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
Think about everything we've talked about.
Yeah,
What really resonated with you,
right.
and how can you start applying it right now?
Great question.
We'll be back soon to wrap things up and guide you further on your journey to attracting more wealth and fulfillment. And we are back for our final thoughts on magnetic abundance. We've explored a lot, from those pesky limiting beliefs to the power of gratitude and giving.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing to see how these principles can really shift your mindset.
Yeah,
From scarcity to abundance.
totally. So now I want to talk about one last piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Actually taking action.
Right.
Because you can't just think about this
Yeah,
stuff,
true.
right? You have to actually do something.
Absolutely. It's like having a seed but never planting it.
Yeah, all that potential, but it goes nowhere.
Exactly.
So how does this program encourage action? What does it suggest?
Well, one thing it emphasizes is visualization.
Yeah.
Like really picturing yourself living the life you want, feeling those emotions.
Not just daydreaming, right?
Yeah.
It's more active than that.
Right. It's about engaging all your senses, making it as real as possible in your mind.
I see. So you're basically tricking your subconscious.
Kind of. When you make it that vivid, your subconscious starts to believe it's possible.
Okay, so then it starts working towards that goal.
Exactly. It's like you're planting that seed in fertile ground.
Interesting. But how do you make sure it actually grow WS then?
That's where consistent action comes in. The program encourages setting small, achievable goals.
So break down those big, scary goals into baby steps.
Yeah, basically, it's about building momentum, getting those little wins that boost your confidence.
And then, as you take action, more opportunities pop up.
Exactly. It's like you're showing the universe you're serious.
Yeah. And the universe responds by giving you what you need.
Something like that. It's about becoming a co-creator, not just sitting back and hoping for the best.
Okay, so visualization, taking action, anything else? What other practical tips does it give?
Well, it also talks about your environment, the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because sometimes, we're holding ourselves back without even realizing it.
Right, if you're hanging out with negative people all the time.
Exactly. So the program might suggest finding mentors or communities that support your growth.
People who lift you up.
Yeah. Remember that saying, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with.
True. Okay, before we wrap things up completely, I want to go back to one of the big ideas from this program.
Okay, which one?
That abundance isn't just about money.
Yes.
It's about creating a life that's rich in every way.
Exactly. This program reminds you that true wealth is about so much more than just your bank account. It's about your relationships, your health, having a purpose, the freedom to do what you love.
It's about feeling aligned, feeling joyful, having it all.
Yeah, and when you focus on abundance in all areas of your life, the money often follows.
So it's like you're creating this magnet for good things.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we've covered all the bases with magnetic abundance. We talked about limiting beliefs, setting intentions, that money blueprint, gratitude, giving, taking action.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did, and we saw how important it is to find those positive influences and remember that abundance is bigger than just dollar signs.
It is.
So to close out our deep dive today, here's one last thought. Abundance is a state of mind, a way of being, right?
It is.
So what's one small shift you can make starting today to align yourself with that energy? Remember, you have the power to create the life you want.
You do.
Embrace these principles and watch your world change.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening, everybody.